Okay, guys, back with another one for you here. And, well, it has been a minute. For sure, I have not been able to get back onto the channel recently and put anything new up for you guys. And I'm sorry for that. I'm glad that I have a chance here at the very end and going into the new year, 2019, to do a little bit of a retrospective on some of the great things that I've had an opportunity to see over the past year that has now come to a close, 2018. A little bit of a retrospective on those things. Special editions, limited editions from Seiko. It is kind of a golden age for this. They have really cranked out some great-looking stuff, some of the best releases I have seen in years, and I thought it would be a terrific time to look back at some of those things. For those of you who are new to the channel or have seen stuff on the channel before, it's really the type of stuff that I like to chase after and go out and look for while I am in Asia. And also, we'll take a look at a new release from Seiko, a Seiko Zimbe number 9 in the series. From the beginning of my channel, I was lucky enough to be able to get the original Seiko Zimbe release. And we're going to take a look at the current release and do a look back. For those of you not familiar with this particular line or special editions from Asia, this will be something of a retrospective in that regard as well. As always, when you are able to get to Asia, you really do have an opportunity to see so many great things on display, in stock. Many of the things you might see online are typically available in some of the authorized dealers, all available in one place, which is terrific. If you're looking for a great diver or some different type of tool watch, they've got it all here. Here you can see, I think, one of the best looking Seiko 5 limited editions in quite some time. The Seiko 5 Sea Urchin. This is the Lake Mashu Lake Edition, limited edition, with a beautiful polar dial. Here we have a Citizen, a very excellent new limited edition from them, the Citizen Fugu, which is reminiscent of one of their other famous models. Great looking Seiko 5, saw a lot of them this past year. Great stuff. Some of the vintage items there are terrific. And this one here really caught my eye. This is the 62 MAS Reboot, the more affordable mainstream item they put out. And this particular one here, the jade green version, really a beautiful rendition of this one here. Gorgeous on the wrist. The fit and finish of this beautiful domed sapphire crystal, really a stunner on the wrist. And a beautiful dial with the little bit of gilded touch there on the indus and the hands. But one of the great things I thought from 2018 was actually this series here, the Black Series, or otherwise known as the Seiko Ninja Turtle. The all-black, beautiful PVD-coated stainless with this excellent kind of a faux patinaed markers there on the dial. Just a great configuration. This was one of the best I've seen in years, and they were really snapped up very quickly, and you can see why. Now, the other models from this line, there are still a handful of them out there. I've still seen them. If you are looking for a terrific solar quartz model, these are great. They still are a terrific looking configuration with some of the same hallmarks as the Turtle, with a really excellent kind of slightly patinaed markers there on the dial. But the one we really want to look at here today is the most recent Seiko Zimbe limited edition. Now, for those of you guys who have been watching my channel in the past couple of years here, you probably had a chance to see one of my original videos, and that was when I was able to get a hold of one of the original, in the original series, the first model from the Seiko Zimbe series, and that was the Seiko Zimbe Turtle. This is a Seiko Zimbe Samurai. And I appreciate what they've done here. I want to talk a little bit about some of the other models because this is actually not the first Samurai. However, I think this particular configuration is more interesting. Now, there you can see on the left is the original Seiko Zimbe turtle. What I've done with that there is actually put a Jubilee, Super Jubilee on there. I really like it in that configuration. But this has the same finish, essentially. They've gone back to what they call the honed finish. It's similar to a bead blasted, very satiny, soft, but really durable finish on the watch. You can see it here on the original. The way the light catches it very differently than a brushed or polished stainless. This has that honed finish on the case, and you can see I've got it living on a couple of different types of straps. Some of the other Seiko Zimbe models, you can see we'll have them here in order. This is the Seiko Zimbe Baby Tuna, which is a real beautiful configuration as well with that polar white dial and an all made in Japan version with a ceramic shroud. Up next, Seiko introduced a higher end variation in the Marine Master 300 Zimbe version, and in person it was really beautiful. Quite an impressive textured dial there, that wave dial with the gild on the index and hands. But there was a very limited run with that one. Up next then came the Sumo in this variation, and this was a wild configuration. They really did a wild color here with the blue. You had a PVD case, you had a gold crown, and you had this purple bezel. The rotating ring there. Very well built. This was a really solid watch, but again, really interesting color, not for everybody. Then up next, really, I think at this phase, so far, kind of the granddaddy of them all in terms of the most desirable because of its premium package, and it has appreciated in value tremendously since its introduction. This is the Shogun Zimbe, and it was done with sapphire. It is titanium, and they really did a beautiful job with this one. Then came the first version of a Zimbe Samurai, and this one here was interesting. I liked some aspects of this model. However, it wasn't doing it for me to put one in my collection. I was kind of looking for more variation in the design of the new re-release of the Samurai. We'll talk a little bit more about those differences up ahead. And then came the Marine Master 300 version number 2. This was a blue model. In some ways, I have to tell you, this one sort of reminded me of a PADI configuration with the colors. This is a beautiful watch, great textured dial, kind of a pinstripe texture. You see the variation there with the red on the markers at 12, 3, 6, and 9, and of course the little stoplight, seconds hand. It's got red on it. Very interesting configuration. However, that one surprised me because both of those models, you can see it here also with the next variation. This is another Baby Tuna version with a metal shroud. We've got some metallics going on here, kind of that treatment they use that kind of makes it a little bit anodized looking there on the bezel. Blue dial, we've got the candy bar Cyclops over the date, and both of these models have the Prospex X and no indication of limited edition. Now here I'm just going to show you the original version of the Samurai, the titanium Samurai, one of the most sought after versions here, the orange dial. It's really a beauty. I love what they did with the hands and the index, and of course you do have that original look back here at the kind of a little stoplight seconds hand. Now here is the new version. Again, we've got the same kind of seconds hand as the original version. Now when you go back here to Zimbe model, Samurai model version 1, you can see they've got the handset that's pretty much exactly like the current available versions since they did the new re-release some time back. And I do like this configuration. I don't mind the hands. They've used these hands in other places. However, I was hoping for a Zimbe model that they would do some different things with it. They did, in fact, indicate, as you can see there on the texture dial, we've got kind of a waffle grid dial, that it is a limited edition. Now you can see here, just briefly, I'll show you the Blue Lagoon Samurai and just get a sense of what a normal version would look like. I think this was one of the special editions. You've got the Prospex X, automatic Divers 200, etc. Same handset. So pretty close to the versions that were currently available. It does have, as you can see here again next to a Patty version, it does have a Cyclops over the day window, and it did move, obviously, the Prospex X up north, just like they did here with the Patty version, which is an excellent version. If you have this in your collection, I think it's fabulous. Love the dial texture on this model. I like the red hand. I like the seconds hand, the way it's configured with this version of the handset. It just really pops, that one. And when I saw this, I thought, you know, I'm going to probably hold off, and that's just what I did. And I'm impressed that they actually took another crack at it, but you can see it's a terrific looking version. These are really solid watches. The build quality was excellent on this one. Really smooth, moving the bezel there. One thing I will point out, though, this was the first Simbi that I had noticed was just off a hair. Usually the Zimbis kind of get special attention. I noticed that the chapter ring was a little bit off. That was another thing that kind of put me off with a particular one that I saw. Now you can see here with the new version, the handset, the markers, the Cyclops over the day. This variation with the honed finish and this really pretty kind of graded gray dial, kind of graphite gray, really catches the eye. I really like what they've done with this one here. And you can see the red really contrasts nicely there on the bezel, in addition to on the seconds hand. And the dial space is interesting. I really do like it. I really do think that they've opened it up. They've gone cleaner. They've made it a little more minimal. And I really do think that it gives the face of the watch the space it deserves, truly opens it up. And I think that minimal look really has made this version really pop on the wrist. One thing I will indicate, though, they did not, with this version, put limited edition on it. So it just has the Prospex X. It's like some of the similar models that you're going to see. As you can see here with the older version, they gave you that on the textured dial, but they did not give you a new configuration with the handset or anything else on the watch itself, except for the Cyclops over the day. Some of you guys hate the Cyclops. I know it's a polarizing thing. So in the new version, obviously it may be a good thing that you've got it. It depends whether you like it. It really does. I find them handy, especially when the magnification is correct. And you can see it's very visible there with the day on the dial there. Well, guys, tell me what you think. I'd really like to hear your thoughts on this one. Have you been collecting any of the Zimbe line? Have you been chasing after these like me? This is one that really has caught my eye. I do like what they've done here with this one. I think that it is looking back towards some of the earlier versions with this really terrific finish. You can see here on the back of the case, we've got the etching of the Zimbe line, and they've got the whale shark there, and also they have the numbered run of the watch. You can see here, this is number 607 of only 1,300 being made in the world. Guys, tell me what you think. What do you think of this gray, kind of a graphite gray, kind of a graded dial there, that really deep gray dial? What do you think about this configuration? Is this one that you would want to get into your collection, or is it kind of a blah design, not one that you were looking for? You can see here the knurling on this rotating ring, a little bit tough to kind of get the grip you want when you want to spin that bezel. But if you think about it in terms of a tool watch and diving watch, you don't exactly want to move that thing with great ease. Very smooth, though, really precise clicks on that bezel. Guys, what do you think? I'd love to hear from you. And thanks so much for staying tuned. The subscribers over the year, even though we weren't putting anything up, I really appreciate you guys coming and joining the channel, and I hope to put more stuff up for you here in the new year. You can see here now, I've got it on the wrist next to another really terrific model. We're going to talk about that one in the next video. Stay tuned for that for sure. Seiko's been doing some really interesting stuff, and I'm hoping this year, 2019, we're going to see a lot more new stuff from them and interesting configurations in the diving and tool watch range. And we'll even talk about some of the interesting dress watches from other makers. And we'll talk about Orient and Citizen, because I really love what's going on there. I'm happy to see that there's some new stuff coming out with both groups of those watchmakers in Asia. And it's really terrific to see it, because I think the more competition and the more innovation that there is in tool watches is something for the better. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think about this Seiko Zimbe and the year gone by, 2018, now come to a close, and looking forward into 2019. I'm going to do my best to bring you guys more stuff here in this year. I will really make an effort, and I'm hopefully be able to do some stuff for you coming up very soon. Anyway, guys, thanks so much. I hope you all have had a terrific year past, and Happy New Year to you. Happy holidays. I hope all of the holidays for you, wherever you are in the world, have been terrific. And, well, tell me what you think about this watch. Any purchases you made, what ones you might be interested in hearing about or seeing. I will do my best to reply back to you in the comments. And please like and subscribe if you'd like to see more stuff like this. Hopefully be able to do some more videos from Asia, and I've been doing a lot of traveling recently, so I'll be in other parts of the world as well. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching, and once again, Happy New Year to you, and I will talk to you soon.